Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the weekly, episode 19. And with me today is myself. Warren is trying to join in, has some technical issues with audio, waiting for Sam, and Mr. Juan Bagnell will not be available this week. So I figured I might as well kick the show off and start. So chime in the chat. I will be checking that more frequently since, of course, usually Juan or Warren usually do that. But let us go ahead and start the show for this week. Now, I don't have a specific uselessness of the week. If there's anything you guys want me to discuss and share, let me know. Also, guys, definitely check out our podcast as well as also the Tech Beard podcast. You can find it in the comment section the description section of this video. Cool podcast from Adam Goud, part of the Pocket Now team, as well as also Booredatwork. Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk about this week is the Xbox One X. Xbox announced the One X, and that is their latest console. It's a 4K gaming console. It packs a lot of specs. So if we want to talk about some of the features or specs the Xbox One X has, I'm going to just share the look of the console for you guys here, so you can see. Hey, Warren, can you hear me? Can't hear Warren. It looks like he's having some real technical difficulties there with Hangout. So let me share my screen. And I'll answer questions to you guys in a second, but let's start talking about the Xbox One X. So the One X this is what the One X looks like. This is Microsoft's smallest console to date. And this thing packs a lot of power. Now, you see the ports, you've got USB 3.0, 3 ports to those. You've got a Blu-ray drive, a 4K Blu-ray drive. This thing is powered by 4 custom 8-core processors. You do have a GPU with 12.5, 12 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, and a lot of performance there, up to 6 teraflops. So, the question I put out there is, would you pick up the Xbox One X, and is it worth it? Now, we've heard that some developers are saying that some of the games will be running at 4K 30 frames per second, not because the console can't handle it, but more because Sony's PS4 is the lead console, and they're sticking to that. Now, for me, I say that's a bummer, because this is a good opportunity to actually have something that has some really good performance in there, and you can really get premium gaming with it. But alas, that is not the case with the Xbox One X, because developers right now are not going to be doing that, at least for the moment. So hopefully we'll get to that point. Hey, so I mean, I think the console is worth it. I think if you look at it this way, if you were thinking of picking up an Xbox One S and you have a 4K TV and you want to enjoy the full breadth of 4K, the One X is the console for you. It's coming out November 7th. It's going to be priced at $499. And I think that is a very good console to pick up. Now, we're going to see more games in 2018 that will take full advantage of the console 4K 60 frames per second. At least one of those at launch would be Forza 7. They showed Forza 7 running 4K 60 frames per second. So that is something that I am excited to see. I'm getting a message from Warren. It looks like he cannot get any audio into this thing whatsoever, which is pretty sad. So it looks like we're not going to get Mr. Warren Bowman this week. But Warren, you can chime in into the chat, and help moderate, and also just answer some questions for people there. Leave your thoughts at least there, for this video. But what do you guys think of the Xbox One X? Any thoughts? Let's see. Sean says, I'm going to admit the system's got great specs, but I'm sticking to PlayStation. So Sean, why are you sticking to PlayStation? Is it just because of the games? And Secondhand Joe says, from a business point of view, should Microsoft allow Sony to take the lead in the consoles? It's not like they're allowing them to take the lead. It's just that it's where developers stand. Hey, Sam, how's it going? Oh, my God. No audio. Warren had
no. I'm thinking the audio is going to work. Don't worry. It's all right.
All right. So Sam's here. Sam has audio. So we're talking about the Xbox One X. and I was posing the question: is it worth the buy? And what do you think about developers capping the system down right now? Because a lot of the games that are coming out, like say Destiny, is going to be running at 4K 30 frames because PlayStation is a lead console. But what do you think about the Xbox One X itself?
The specs are pretty solid. It is basically a PC on your home console, so it should do a pretty decent job. Destiny, yes, it's an issue for developers who are developing across multiple platforms. But if you look at something like Anthem is going to be 4K 60 frames per second. So there's no reason for for the Destiny guys to go ahead and say, oh, we're only doing this at 30 frames per second because of PlayStation. Anthem decided to do it 60 frames per second. So
yeah,
they're arbitrarily basically limiting the performance of their game because they want to make it easier to develop for. They just want to develop one. They just want to basically put out one game and basically port it to multiple platforms. It's their decision. It's even more curious when you look at the fact that Destiny is also going to be on the PC, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to limit it to 4K.
You can't limit PC games.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is very telling on who decided to build a game for a next generation system versus who didn't. So I'm just going to put it this way. If you're looking to upgrade from your Xbox One, not One S, I'll say definitely do it. But if you have an S already, the argument then becomes a little bit more muddy. Yes, it's more powerful. Yes, you're going to get 4K. Yes, it's, oh, look, Warren is here.
Warren, do you have audio? Warren, say something. Warren.
Oh, he just dropped out again.
Yeah, his audio it's not working. Damn. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, you're going to have VR, right? But at the end of the day, the question is, how much more benefit do you get from game wise, just experience on game wise? How much more bang for your buck do you get from the X than you do from the Xbox One S? That question is still out there. Like, no one really knows, especially when you start talking about, like we said, developers who are limiting this to 4K 30 frames per second. Then you have to ask yourself the question, like, should you upgrade from the S? Is it worth your while? So yes, definitely. For someone like me, I'm getting it. But if someone is more conscious on bang for a buck, I would say it's still kind of iffy.
Yeah, I mean, for bang for buck, yeah, the S makes a lot of sense. If you want to enjoy true 4K and you've never seen 4K gaming, granted, the S upscales your games. Upscaling is very different from true 4K.
True 4K.
Very different. So if you want to see true 4K on your 65-inch TV or 55-inch TV, anything like that, that's where the Xbox One. And also if you want to have games that just higher fidelity in general, like we saw Anthem, and Anthem looked very good, there. And it looks like Warren doesn't have audio still. Nope, no audio. Damn it. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, you need to upgrade to a new TV, but I think everyone is upgrading to a 4K TV anyway. At this point, I think most people are moving to 4K. In that, hey, Warren, is that you?
We just heard you.
You just heard me?
Yeah. Warren's here.
Can you hear
my God, the chat is going crazy.
Can we hear this?
No, we can't hear that, but we can hear you.
Probably sound from a distance.
Yeah, you're probably doing it from your. It looks like you're doing it from your camera. Just a little bit of a
from webcam. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Warren, since you have you here before audio does something else, Xbox One X, what do you think?
Oh no! What happened?
This thing is.
Oh, okay. Came on and then.
It's like it's getting in and out. So the Xbox One OG and the Xbox One S run games at 720p and 900. To jump to 4K or more 1080p games, better frames, it's worth it. I mean, you're going to get games in 4K. You're going to get some games there will be no game that's running at 1080p. The very least, you're going to get 2 games running at 2K at 60 frames per second. Now, it all depends on the developer, but let's put it this way. The Xbox One X has 12 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. One developer this last week at E3, Arc, says the GPU in the Xbox One X is like having a GTX 1070 with 12 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now, even if it was only 4 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM with the GTX 1070, that would be great. But since this is 12 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM on, as the developer calls it, GTX 1070, that's a lot of solid processing power to use, for gaming. So I think we'll see that. It just has to wait for the games that come out. For me, Anthem was one of the games I liked. I like Crackdown in general, even though it's more cell shaded and it's more like just a crazy game. The one game I was really interested was the one I shared with you, Sam, the prison game, the one from EA.
Yeah, we're basically working with a partner.
The whole game's a co-op. This is the second time EA has done this. Remember, there's a game where you and your buddy were mercenaries, and one of you would use the shield and one would use a gun.
Yeah, Army 2 or
Army 2, yes. That game didn't pan out too well. This one is more story-based, so we'll have to see how that works out. Because, from the trailers of the game, one person's already in jail, the other person is coming in. So while, say, Sam and I are playing, and I'm coming into jail, I have a cutscene. Meanwhile, Sam is watching the cutscene and can move around because he's already in jail at that point. And then, it looks like an interesting game. So I think there'll be a lot of interesting things to check out there. So let's move on from that to big news that dropped yesterday. Opening bell, I think, stock market. Amazon decided to flex its muscles, show people that, it's got some clout, and decided to just pick up Whole Foods. $13.7 billion, as all the memes we see on the web. Bezos said, Alexa, what was the joke again? Alexa, order me some food or get me Whole Foods.
Yeah, get me something from Whole Foods.
Get something from Whole Foods. And then Alexa, of course, just buys Whole Foods for him. So $13.7 billion. Warren, can we hear you? Nope.
Just stay on and keep chiming in. Eventually, I think we'll hear you. You got it working the last time, so it should.
Yeah. Thoughts on the purchase? Because Whole Foods is a private company. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just have to. Just won't be able to use this microphone then. The Hangouts refuses to work with it, so
it's all right.
It's just what it is.
All right, Xbox One X thoughts quickly before we
before you lose you again.
Before we jump back to Whole Foods.
What's been said so far? I'm trying to catch up here.
No, we're just talking about the specs on it and the games that are going to be native 4K 60 frames per second versus lazy developers bringing 4K 30 frames per second to deliver the same game to every single console out there.
Yeah, because basically developers like Activision from Destiny is saying that, hey, Destiny will be running at 30 frames per second 4K on the Xbox One X because everybody knows the lead console is PlayStation. A few other developers have said that, while some other developers have said, look, the system has enough power for us to make a game at 4K 60 frames per second. So we don't know why they're being lazy. So your thoughts on that, and then your overall thoughts on the console itself.
I mean, developers in general are lazy, so I don't know why you're surprised by this. Don't make up any excuses for any reason to not actually have to answer to peak performance of anything, because they don't want to take the risk. They just don't, because if they don't reach it, they get more slack. I mean, it'd be nice if they can get it as high as they possibly can. 4K 30p, it'd be nice to get the 4K 60p. I don't understand why they can't get to that point when there's clearly a console that's available to do so that can get to that point. But overall, the Xbox One X is it's kind of it's all right. So for the tech groups out there, it excites us because it's just a new piece of hardware. So we're obviously excited to use it, to see it, the power that it has within it, and everything we got to do with it, in terms of tech perspective. But if you look at it from gaming, it's kind of this weird double-edged sword, because on one half of this, Microsoft is essentially telling everyone to spend $500 on their console again, which it isn't a bad price for what the console's worth, obviously. But if you just, was it 4 years ago, just bought the original Xbox day one launch, like many of us did here, you already dropped $5 bills. So you're dropping $5 bills again without the Connect with it this go around. out of all 42 games they showed, they truthfully didn't show any. Although some gamers complain about this, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it is something of concern. Not one of the games they really showed were true exclusive games for the Xbox. Every single Xbox exclusive they announced had Xbox and Windows 10 right next to it. So there was no, you have to buy this console to get this specific game on the system at all, out of all the games that they showed with it. It's kind of slapping the face a little bit to the Xbox One S folks, but they kind of knew this was coming. They just didn't know how badly it was going to hit them. So now they're looking at it, especially for those, once again, that bought the 2 terabyte version of this damn thing when it came out. You now don't get a special edition version. If you decide that, hey, I got 4K and I want 4K gaming, you actually have to go down in tiers in terms of storage, and spend more money out of it. So it's, once again, weird placement where this whole thing is, and it's, let's be realistic here. If it wasn't for the fact that the majority of us in this group have to go and get this console because it's part of our jobs to do, the reality is all of us would be just sitting there waiting for a price drop before we'd even touch this thing.
Not me. I'll buy it. 4K console. Yeah, yep. I would. There's a difference.
No, but see, there's a difference on how many games. And beyond the fact that why would you get it now when everything is coming in 2018? Because the same games you saw here on this screen here will be shown right at fucking E3 again next year, with the just release date sometime in the fall of 2018. So and by that time, they'll bundle the hell out of this thing because they're not going to sell enough. They simply aren't going to sell enough, and they're going to want to push it to try and get more people to buy the Xbox One X. So how they're going to do that, they're going to have to bundle some games and add some add-ons with it as well too. So the rest of us that are day one assholes get screwed over once again, no lube, because we would have spent $500 and not got any damn thing out of it. Well, somebody else will spend the same one, get 2 games and some other things and a bag of chips on the side, which would have ended up happening. So I guarantee you, most people will wait on this thing because of now the shakiness of the platform, because of this thing coming out, because you don't know how much longer Microsoft's really going to support this thing. They say that they're going to put a lot of 4K games on. All these games are coming out next year. The question is, in 2019, are they going to sit there and announce another system?
No.
Are they going to announce a new platform? Are they going to continue this? Don't say no. Don't say no. Don't say no, because they straight up 4 years later just announced a 4K console when everyone said no, they wouldn't again. So don't say
remember,
that.
No. We've known the 4K console was coming out. We
didn't say no.
No, we didn't. No,
yes, we did.
No, we didn't. No, we knew. We didn't know in 2013, did we? Did we know in 2013?
We knew that they had to make one.
No, that you had to, because guess what? If these consoles were selling well, we would have never seen a PS4 Pro 4K, and we never would have seen an Xbox One 4K. Never would have seen it, because the games would have been selling well. We're seeing this because the sales aren't where they want them to be.
It's not just that; it's also because of the adoption.
Blah blah. Whatever to that.
It actually showcases this. There are studies that say, the adoption of 4K has now passed the adoption of 1080p. So these things do not look as good as they should, and then you're making that push for it. Yeah, I agree with you. The sales numbers are not the same as a PS3.
That's why they're bullshitting it. No, but seriously, that's why they're bullshitting and trying to say that this is a console that's within the Xbox Live in the same ecosystem. No, we just saw Microsoft release a new console to everyone else that just
bought Xbox One. That is a new console launch. So calm down on the stomping. No one's arguing with you on that.
It is a new console.
I'm just saying that 2019 they will not announce a new console.
Okay.
Maybe 2020.
Don't. Just because you didn't even let me finish my point. You just started going nope. And
I said no, and then you started yelling. Okay.
Hey, kids, calm down, kids.
Thanks, Daddy. Yeah, it's
what I was saying.
Continue.
To sit there and say that that's not a reality. What just happened now is the reality that could possibly be a thing. Hell, Sony just did it a year ago. with releasing another console, calling it something in between, and just kind of saying,
You do know Sony fast-tracked their console.
And so did Microsoft. But so did Microsoft.
I don't think they did.
No.
But here's the thing.
Xbox One S was the fast track.
No, they fast-tracked this as well, too. Because here's the thing that's going to happen. When 2019 hits, are they going to continue to push this thing if they're not getting the sales that they expect to get with the games? If the games aren't selling and the platform's not pushing as well, and the third-party developers that are just looking at it don't necessarily have an exclusive tie to the PC or exclusive tie to PS4, but are not developing for the Xbox One because they're not seeing the platform rise a lot larger than what it is, or they're only seeing a certain number and not seeing the 4K version of the Xbox selling well. So they're not going to put out a lot of 4K games, and we're just stuck with this. Maybe they'll just push things to 1080p 60 because it can kind of maybe guarantee that works on enough systems or whatever the case may be. Probably because they're lazy, it'll be 1080p 30.
Yeah, but in 2019, let me just cut you quickly. In 2019, 4K TV adoptions would be triple the amount now. So you don't have to have 4K content, right?
Okay. No,
I'm just saying at that time, right?
Yeah, but we can make that adoption thing, but but in the end of the day, when we get to that point, are they going to continue to support that platform, or are they going to bring something new, or are they just going to kill everything off and then just try to make everything from Windows 10 from that point of stand base? Where does this platform stand? Because they clearly don't have a lot of faith in them in every single game.
4K 60 frames per second, man.
Every game that's exclusive for them is completely a Windows 10 game. That they're not that confident in that.
And we're seeing the convergence between Windows 10 gaming and I think that's what we're trying to show, the convergence between Windows 10 gaming and the Xbox at 4K 60 frames per second. That's basically a high-end PC that you're building to be able to play a game consistently at that. Yes, we might see less focus on development simply for Xbox One X games and more on the Windows 10 games, but since they're convergent, it becomes the same thing. I think at the end of the day, this is Microsoft's long game. So we're not going to see another hardware for quite a while because this is a long game.
Anyone buy this console? Then why?
Because to build a comparable...
Because okay, you asked the question. Let me answer the question.
Then why does anyone want to buy this thing? Here's the problem. $500. They're investing $500 in this, and they expect this platform to be something of a 5-10 years worth of development. We're getting 5-10 years worth of something out of that thing. Why would they do that when they know probably in a few years Microsoft's kind of we're going to pull the Wii U on this? And
no, Microsoft is not going. Like, see, I think the problem here is this. Is you see it one way, you're seeing that Microsoft will eventually ditch the Xbox. And like with Sam, I've seen that Microsoft is saying we're consolidating both together because we are making it. It's almost, to me, that message goes back to the original Bill Gates message, right?
Yeah, and you believe it. That's the problem. You believe it. When have they done anything?
They've been doing it over and over.
Now
look at the OS.
This is the same Microsoft that had a focus on entertainment in their consoles. The same Microsoft that had the focus on voice commands in the console. This is the same one that put Cortana in there. This is the same Microsoft that said by now we should have already had already should have had all the integration all within it. This is the same Microsoft that sat back and said cloud gaming, cloud-based stuff is going to help with a lot of the graphics inside of that. We haven't seen any of that shit pop up either. With all this stuff that they came out and they claimed with the original stuff in 2013, and now we're looking at it where they're not making promises. They're not living up to the majority of their promises, the majority of things that they put out, and we're still not sitting here calling them out for that.
We've called them out for that. But I'm not being delusional of saying that the Xbox One X will just disappear by 2019. That's literally 2 years from now. You do know that, right? 2 years from now, your thinking is the Xbox, by that time, Microsoft will make another console that would be 8K or something like that at that point. That's what you believe at that point in time. At least you're insinuating to some degree.
I think eventually what they'll end up doing is that they'll just bow out of the business because that's what Nadella wants. They don't want to serve any hardware, so they'll just bow out of this thing and just leave
I don't think they will bow out just because of the amount of money they still make from the console system.
Yeah, well, clearly that money's drying up if they're sitting there having to drop another $500 console on people. that money is clearly drying up.
Go check the financials and see how much the Xbox itself actually.
That's nice. That's making it. It ain't making as much as their server and everything else.
No, it's not making as much as
it's making a decent amount of money, but the money is not. It's not going up. It's going down.
Okay, so you're
right.
All right. So we can move to a different topic. Is basically this: Warren believes the Xbox is going to die in 3 years because the dollar.
I don't believe it's going to necessarily die in 3 years. What I'm saying, what you're not hearing me is what I'm saying is we need to be a little bit conscious of what they're saying with this release. We need to be a little bit conscious.
No, we are conscious of the release, but
we need to be. We need
no,
to be
the difference is this:
I don't let it finish his thought,
man. We need to be a little more critical than we have been. That's what I'm sitting here saying.
Of all companies that we are critical of Microsoft every week.
We're probably the most critical people of Microsoft.
We complain about Microsoft
and how the hell it needs to go.
We've all complained about it. I agree with you. The one thing I would say I will agree with you is that I think their vision is this. Now, will they be able to fully execute it? That's a whole different story. We all know how Microsoft can do.
But that's my thing. That's the thing I'm trying to break their head down. They keep making these promises saying they execute things, and time again they have not done it. At some point, we've got to put the kibosh and say, "Put up or shut up." Seriously, no more hope, no more.
Yeah. See, but to me, I look at I like what Phil Spencer is doing with them, and the gamble he's playing is we can't sit down here and. If you look at I think they've looked at sales numbers. Activision went PS4 as a lead console for Call of Duty. The sales difference was minimal. And Microsoft was like, we have better online. People know and they will come back. All those games that they were pushing for those exclusives, like the Call of Duty and the rest of that.
Well, that's also a genre that's dying down more so than
I don't think not necessarily dying down. I mean, like it's just they had certain bad games. It came back up this year with EA's. EA had some solid games with Medal of Honor.
That's because when the hell was the last time there was a Medal of Honor game in the last 10 years?
But
that's the reason why that game got.
Dude,
right now, if someone put out SOCOM right now, everybody would jump on SOCOM.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Genres don't necessarily die like that. We remember a few years ago we said single player games are dying or dead. What's back now?
I didn't say that.
No, the industry was saying that. Right? What's back right now? Sony has single player exclusives, right? That's Sony's biggest thing is we have single player games that are exclusive, like a God of War, like the zombie one, Last of Us, and things like that. So it's all cyclical. It's a matter of whether the execution Phil Spencer wants to do will happen at that point. And you know what? We'll just leave it there and we'll move on to Amazon because we've spent 25 minutes, 35 minutes.
We will revisit this.
On next month. Amazon buys Whole Foods. Sam, kick it off.
Oh, no. So basically on, what was that? Thursday or was it Friday? No,
was yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Yeah, it was yesterday, yeah.
Amazon paid $13.7 billion to purchase the brick and mortar store, or I guess it's grocery store chain, Whole Foods. It has about 400 plus brick and mortar stores across the U.S. So basically, this is Amazon's big play into brick and mortar grocery stores, which they've been trying to do for a very long time. I'm actually a little optimistic about this because there had been rumors out there that the board of Whole Foods was kind of forcing the founder to sell Whole Foods. They're trying to get him to try to move along and sell Whole Foods. So yeah, he did it, but I think he did it in the best way. Selling it to an Amazon is a way better fit for something that's almost counterculture to the whole grocery store movement than maybe selling it to a bigger chain. So this might be probably the best move for both Whole Foods and Amazon.
Well, he got some of that guaranteed overpay for it.
Oh yeah,
that's why he picked Amazon.
No, I'm pretty sure he would have gotten a similar deal from other people. I think Amazon had to be aggressive because Amazon wants they want the brick and mortar stores, right? If you look at something like a Walmart, I mean, not even a Walmart. Actually, yeah, like a Walmart. Walmart has about 10 times the amount of stores that Amazon has. That
10,000, I think.
No, they have about 4,000 plus, I think.
Okay, is it for? I thought it was 10,000 stores worldwide.
Oh, maybe it could be.
No, worldwide. Worldwide might be 10,000. Sorry.
So we're looking at a situation where it's a drop in a bucket for someone like Walmart, right? Even though places like Whole Foods continue to attract certain clientele that basically don't frequent Walmart. So this is something that any company who wanted to get that Whole Foods clientele would have really jumped at. But Amazon jumped at it because Amazon is really making that push for brick and mortar. They have basically zero presence. Before this, they had basically zero presence in brick and mortar stores across the country. So now they basically bought 400 plus branches in the US, and that's a big deal. They've bought a pretty loyal consumer base.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right with the consumer base.
Not just a loyal consumer base, a profitable one, ones that will overspend for kimchi and cookies and a lot of other.
And now you can get your Amazon Echo right at the store too.
Yeah, you probably can.
Amazon, I'll order some Whole Foods and they'll just order a whole bunch of Whole Foods. The advantage of buying a Whole Foods is also that 90% of their stuff, I think, outside of a few things, it's very similar to Trader Joe's, but it's all their own thing. It's either their own brands that they really sell themselves, with a few other things that are outside brands.
Yeah.
So with it, so there's an advantage that they have now, sort of working with that.
It makes sense going back to what Amazon has been trying to do on the digital side in replacing or at least supplementing brands. So if you go to like the toiletries, the home segments, you will find I can buy Cottonelle, I can buy Amazon branded TP, stuff like that. They've been trying to do on the digital side, and like Warren said, through Whole Foods, you already have that supply chain built in, and you're even making more. I mean, your profit margins are larger because you own the product chain down the line, so that helps them quite a bit. And like you said, it's a very loyal customer base. It's a customer base with expendable income, at least a higher amount of expendable income. And now this makes me understand more why Walmart has that Walmart Pay with credit line built into it. It really, if you can keep those people in Walmart, even as their income increases, then it makes sense for Walmart to do that kind of push, especially with the whole credit line attached to it. So I think we'll see how it all plays down the line in terms of, all these companies going back and forth. Who else? Who maybe
does Walmart accept? Do they accept other forms of payment, touchless payment, or is it just theirs?
I don't know.
I haven't shopped at Walmart in a while, actually.
I mean, you can use Samsung Pay. That's pretty much it. I know that one, but other than I don't know about.
Well, I've seen them pull that block. I've seen these companies pull the block on that too. MDT, MST swiping. I've seen the CVSs have pulled that off.
Yeah.
And block.
I know. I've
tried much less.
I tried it at Walmart last Christmas because I was running to go buy like wrapping paper over there, and it works. But I didn't see any Apple Pay sign.
But I don't think they would. They wouldn't be the type to me that would do that type of blocking. Plus, I'm gonna put this out there. If you're a company that's been blocking one payment over the other to prefer your own, people will just shop at you less. It's just it's an instant deterrent for me to actually want to bother going to your establishment.
Don't limit the way people can give you money. Just put it that way. That's not a good business plan.
Yeah,
it's not a good business plan. And to the consumer, it's immediately negative. So it's like, well, I'll go to Walgreens so they take everything over CVS. CVS wants to block me, screw you.
All right, let's move on from that and some iPhone 8 rumors. It looks like, and if I can find the image, I'll just share the image from Pocket now. Let's see. There we go. Boom. So the front panel of the iPhone leaks. This is what it is, and all indications now point to the fingerprint sensor underneath the screen.
Really?
Yeah. There's no button there on that screen on the left, and there's nothing on the back, and it kind of points to that. So that's something that is interesting. Now, this to me bodes well for the Galaxy Note 8 having the same thing. Because remember, Samsung does make those displays.
Mm-hmm.
And Samsung already knows that if there's no space for a button underneath, you're going to have the same tech in there. But also rumors also point to wireless charging now coming to the iPhone. We don't know if it's G or PMA or it's their own format that they will use. Most likely they're going to kind of format it their way so they can sell
they've been working with a company called Energis for a little while. Rumors have been they've been working with that company. So there's a possibility that their wireless is going to be in particular in conjunction with that. But it depends if they're actually going to get wireless, which, well,
I think they will, but even if they do, they will. Even if it was Qi, they will make it proprietary in some format or function.
I have a feeling they'll just make their own, be proprietary to their own thing.
The display panel front kind of looks a little similar to Essential in the fact that you have spacing on the sides, and the top bar doesn't cover the whole thing. What are your thoughts? Do you think Apple? I mean, I guess it's not new. Why am I asking if it's new? It's Apple copying and moving like everybody else. But what do you think about some of the leaks with the iPhone 8?
Well, so I've seen two things. I've seen the fingerprint scanner being at the back of the device, which
that was
I think
false. That was false. That was
which I thought was more likely to happen. But looking at this now, it does make sense that Apple would do this, but I just doubt that Apple can be that innovative. I just doubt that Apple could be that forward thinking, right? Because they've always waited for someone else to do something before they've done it. So if they do have this fingerprint scanner under the screen, they would be the first phone to do it, right?
Note 8 will beat it out.
Oh yeah, the Note 8, yeah. But if they do confirm before the Note 8, but we'll see with the Note 8. If the Note 8 has it, then okay, maybe Apple would have it.
There were only two people working on that tech. The one who's really behind is Qualcomm. The one who everybody was waiting for is Snaptech. Snaptech was the one building it, and Apple or either Samsung or whoever else who use it. It just wasn't ready for the Galaxy S8 at the time of launch, which is why the fingerprint sensor is in the worst location, because Samsung rearranged all the internals so that fingerprint sensor will be right there in front. And it wasn't ready time for launch. So they had to just kind of place it, put it somewhere at the back. What do you think, Warren?
I don't know. It's I don't know if I believe how all of this looks in terms of this display and the kind of design. It looks a little non-Apple-esque.
It looks a little LG-ish.
It looks very, it looks very much like a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. So I don't know if this is their way of going about it. I don't know if they would do that much screen real estate. That's not something that they're privy to do. Edge isn't really that thing. They like to kind of brag about having thumb distance and all other nonsense that they have. But
what about the camera placement, man? That's some weird stuff right there.
The side panel. I mean, the camera placement, that one has kind of been confirmed for a while. A lot of the block placement, and I forgot, there was an image from a case manufacturer that had the camera placement the same way. So case manufacturers are beginning to get, like, that part is the easiest part more than anything else.
To me, I'm saying this is Apple basically finally dedicating itself to basically landscape pictures, man. That's some crazy stuff.
No, it's not going to be landscape.
Crazy stuff.
Just because the position is like that does not mean anything.
That's some crazy stuff, dude. I don't know, man. This might be. We might start seeing iPhone using better pictures, man.
We're gonna get vertical recording.
It would be portrait the whole time.
So you guys still have no faith that Apple.
Apple has no faith. Apple has no faith. Think about this. Their portrait. They're
running ads about portrait mode right now.
Their panorama mode is done this way. They're the only ones that do it that way.
Yep. Ain't gonna change, man. Ain't gonna change. It's gonna be like that the whole time. So hey, who knows? But I guess it is what it is with the S8. Speaking of Samsung, Samsung is now running Bixby tests or at least giving people to the opportunity to sign in and jump in on early tests for Bixby. So if you have an S8, you can sign up. All you have to do is put in your Samsung account info, and then you probably be selected to be part of the Bixby testing. Like we said earlier, Bixby was going to launch again with the Note 8. That's pretty much what it is. I know a lot of people complain, why have the button on the S8? Because eventually it's going to go there, and you're going to have the functional button. I think that's how I look at it. But did any of you guys...
I get that button's there after time. I don't know what the hell anyone's complaining about.
Yeah, I know. Everybody complains that the button interferes. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't do anything. Stop whining. Why you always whining?
So yeah, I mean, that's that. But finally, a last thing on the docket is Spotify. Spotify has just announced it hit 140 million subs, even though they lost money and they generated more revenue this year, but they passed 100 million from a year ago, added 40 million so far this year. Let's see, the company's data figures of paying subscribers have reached 50 million. So they need to get to a threshold where paying subscriber, I think they need to get to about 70% where it becomes financially sensible for them. But a lot of people have said the problem is that Spotify is still because they're a distributor of music and not creators of content. That's where their problem lays. So maybe they need to form their own label service.
Well, hold on a second. Even with those are tremendously good numbers. I wonder if they showed them to Taylor Swift, who thought she was affecting things by pulling her music.
No, I mean,
she's on there now.
She's on there, yeah.
She's back on there now because she got a bit of a better deal. So she, as usual, she looks contradictory to what she was saying. I just want a better deal, but I'm doing this for the middleman and the little guys in music. Sure you were. Yeah. Sure you were.
No, I think Spotify should come up with its own label, but where it's, as a musician, you can just immediately, drop on Spotify, and then they do the marketing pushes for you and things like that. It could be something that helps, especially smaller musicians, people who are starting up or small, stuff like that, so that it's not just a label. Now you're dropping into Spotify, and then, it's already getting to people directly as it is, instead of you as a musician campaigning and letting your fans know, oh, I am on Spotify kind of thing, So it could be something that they should work on, I think, that would boost.
I think it's just kind of a wait and see as people are getting used to paying for subscription services when it comes to music. Just let it. I don't think there's anything direct that they can do that's going to change that other than advertising and putting their name out there and getting people to know that, hey, you like Spotify, join a subscription, you get these bonuses when you do so. And if they continue to do it that way, I think it will help. It will help them the most. I don't know if adding a label is really gonna change much for them. That's an expensive proposition to do. You got to remember everything that goes in within a label, and especially when it comes down to a lot of copywriting as well too.
Yeah, I don't think it is if your label is not if you don't create it the same way as a giant label. If you create it as a direct to consumer with advertising within Spotify, then you're not even paying anything.
Yeah, but they still have to take care. They still have to monitor a lot of things in terms of samplings, in terms of permissions for a specific type of song or a beat or a lyric.
Oh no, I'm talking about as a distribution label, not as a creative label, not your traditional.
Yeah. So basically, SoundCloud. They could do something like SoundCloud.
Not a creative label. It's literally not a Warner Brothers or Sony. It's literally be SoundCloud, beat them out, so that people start creating and posting directly. Because SoundCloud now is that platform pretty much.
Okay, so if you do that on Spotify, what are they earning back from the artist? Because they're going to have to take a cut of the profits for that to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about beginning artists that's starting off trying to get somewhere. Are they willing to take probably almost getting paid zero versus getting a little bit to push and publish their music out to try to get bigger, to try to bank on the next album will be big enough, or bank on getting a deal, or bank on getting, maybe some concerts and some stuff like that they can make some revenue off of that, to then maybe the next album they get a better deal off of. I don't know in today's world game where everybody can just literally launch on YouTube and build their damn career. Will they?
Yeah, but not everyone is successful though. I mean, everybody launches on YouTube. The amount of it's like this.
But
out of 100, like 5.
I don't think them pushing it's going to make that much of a deal. It's still going to be up to the consumers to listen and to hear and discover whatever is kind of out there. It's always going to be that case. YouTube's had a lot more than just 5. But
no, I'm not saying that.
there's obviously there's thousands to maybe the 100 to 200 that actually kind of make it into that realm.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you have 140 million subscribers, there's an avenue for you to push your own people on that. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
It's just built in, because looking at the numbers in comparison, Apple has 27 million. As of last month, Apple has 27 million. Spotify is king in this market. So I think this is the time where they need to start trying things out to really increase. This is where they need to do it. Facebook. Facebook did this. Facebook was king, and then Facebook said, let's do stuff to really be God in the market. Forget being king. Let's be the God of the market. And that's where they are, I think they need to just start looking at different avenues. It may not work, like you're right, it may not actually work, or it may turn out to be something else that formulates from that. But they need to find a model of different things that now...
And there's also labels that kind of do this for them across a bunch of different platforms.
Okay, there you go. Maybe purchasing some of those people. Like I'm saying, it's that kind of stuff that they need to start doing now, so that if you can purchase labels like that also distribute to iTunes, Apple Music, to Google Play, then you're tapping into other revenue streams. That's
But what I'm saying is all of that is going down. It almost ends up being better. You can do all that, and you still won't. It's still, you look at artists like Macklemore and Chance the Rapper. Weird Al's another one that kind of did it this way, and even we can go way back and even talk about Soulja Boy, that pretty much all self-promoted themselves through social media, played the social media game just well enough to get their music heard out, and they didn't need to involve anybody with that, and made themselves into bigger stars. So the
thing is, you're pointing out 5 examples. I said 5 before, right? The thing is, Spotify, now I don't use Spotify, but I listen to other people, and they listen to such a breadth of so many different artists that I'm like, who the hell is this person? That's the benefit of Spotify, right? I'm just saying that I get it. I get that aspect.
Well, that's the benefit of any music streaming service that you.
Yeah, no, true. Yeah, but I'm just saying
don't use them. So
but what I'm saying is that I get that aspect. What I'm saying is that Spotify needs to do something, and you can say it may not work, but you have to try.
I think the best thing that they would do is promote concerts and tours, and push it that way. Make shows on YouTube, make things, and do live performances and push stuff that way. That way you give artists that's the artist's greatest exposure, is when they're seen live and they're seen in sort of that realm. They can be seen in a show or something like that. Then people will go back and listen to the music.
Now combine that with you had a distribution label for that artist at the same time. Now you're double dipping. Now
they are.
I'm just saying that you can try and combine it. If it fails, it fails. But if you don't do, then
almost no independent artist would be. Yeah, almost no artist would actually do that though. They were like, yeah, sure.
There are a lot of artists. There are a lot of artists on things like SoundCloud that are happy that Google's thinking about purchasing them, because Google is also, or should I say YouTube is also one of the biggest ways that people discover music. So Spotify needs to take that kind of model. They need to basically, find a company or build a tool like SoundCloud where people already post music to, or where people feel comfortable posting their own mix to or whatever, and then give them a marketplace, create that marketplace for them to sell their individual music. So it's go ahead.
It would be great if I would just sorry to interrupt, but just popped in my head. I didn't want to forget, but wouldn't it be great if they found a Vimeo-like service to push, creative, be able to push artists that want to make videos or want to sing and do things live and recordings, and then tie it in.
A lot of artists that make videos, they already have deals because to finance those videos, you need money.
Well, no, I'm not talking about full music videos. You can do a lot of different things. You can just sing in front of the camera like Mr. Chocolate Rain did. And it worked,
It did work. It did work.
You can have some of those artists that just I forgot some of those girls that do the acapella singing and stuff. I forgot one of those people that do covers. They could just be sitting there doing covers and make an artistic little video that's low budget but works in a way to show off their talent. To have that in a focused way would be really, really cool to see. In a great way.
I mean, you're right. Maybe that's another thing. Spotify needs to do the video elements of Spotify with all that kind of stuff there, where it's strictly an artist thing. It's strictly just music and whatever the artists want to do.
I think people will be interested in that.
Will be a low budget in there, and like I said, but that's the thing, too. Is like it's a bunch of ideas, right? There's the concerts, where. You're right. Spotify should be having concerts. There should be Spotify sponsored concerts around the planet at this point in time. It should be there. They should also have a video service where it's purely music, and the switch between video. It's something where like you're listening to Spotify, you can, whether it's casted to your TV, watch those videos. That back and forth where it's seamless is just an added layer of service, right?
These are the things that they should have put out. Considering that when YouTube put out the YouTube Music app out there, Spotify should have been like, we need to do something, and we need to do something fast, because that easily, the funny thing is, if let's say you decide to buy YouTube Red and whatnot, and you listen to music and playlists and stuff like that, a lot of people that curate the playlists on YouTube for different things that you can't necessarily find on streaming services. And that thing also bases recommendations in a very similar way to the way Spotify kind of does its thing. And if YouTube ever really promoted it, which they don't really promote it well enough, but if that ever got really big, they'd be in a little bit of trouble. But it's nice to see it. But I think they need to look at what those elements are. Like, there isn't the YouTube replaced what the music video stations used to do, which music video stations actually broke more songs and reached out to more people. Radio will still always have its thing, but a lot of people don't always listen to radio, but they watch TV and they see a music video for whatever song, the latest thing that comes out. I remember the Much Musics of the world that would bring something that was like an alternative to MTV. You get the latest stuff, but then you would get stuff internationally and stuff that you didn't necessarily hear, or independent things. And I think that sort of genre is now all on YouTube. And it's not necessarily YouTube doing anything with it. It's just there because YouTube is so great with video. And I would think the Spotifys and the Pandoras of the world would want to tap into that.
Pandora is dead.
And tap into that sort of market and try to push itself, being like the MTVs, the VH1s, and the Much Music's channels that they used to be. Both those channels used to be about when they were really focused on music over pop culture. And and Lou Rod said, if you're honest, just don't sign the Cash Money. Yeah, I think everybody's figured that one out. Well, if you sign the Cash Money, just make sure you have your lawyer ready to sue. That's all you really got to make sure you got to do. He's been sued more than I think any other. Like, they've been sued more than any other rap label possible. I think they're like double digits, like 10 or 12 lawsuits or something. Oh man.
Yeah. All right, guys. That is pretty much it for this week. Finished right on time at 1 o'clock, even though we started a little late. Thank you very much, everyone, for chiming in. And we get to that part of the show where we talk about what we have on the channel, what we can expect next week, and of course, we also get Warren's last word. So I'll start off with Warren, with what he has on the channel, and then he can give us his last word at the very end.
Well, the last word is supposed to be the last word at the end, so I'm expecting everybody else to go first. And then
you need to tell us what is on your channel, and then what to expect, and then you can think about the last word, let it marinate, and then give it to us.
Okay, let's make this quick.
Let it marinate.
Stuff and stuff.
Really? So you didn't put anything on the channel this week at all?
Put stuff on the channel.
Okay. All right. Stuff. All right. How about you, Sam?
I think I'm done reviewing these the Braggy Pros.
Custom Pro, right? Not the Pro.
Yeah. Braggy. No, the customs. Yeah, the custom Pros. So Yeah, we should be seeing that sometime next week. I'll probably put it to the video. So probably before we have the show again next week, check the channel. You probably would be surprised to see that I might have one video up with the braggy, Dash Pros custom on there.
Yeah, cool. My end, a bunch of videos there. We've got a couple of Xbox One videos breaking it down. We also got that giant 49-inch monitor from Samsung, which is
it's a TV, okay? it's a TV.
It's
Once
not
it passes 40 inches, it's a TV.
It's not a TV.
Christ, man. Stop calling that thing a monitor.
So you can't see where my hands end? Yeah, exactly. That's where the thing is. That's also up on the channel. And then we're gonna have some more stuff this weekend. We'll have a bunch of videos this weekend, so stay tuned. And we'll have our the new Surface Pro review up next week when we get some time. But I will have a gaming video for that this weekend. So see if that new Intel, what's the Iris processor? Is it Iris processor? The graphics processor in the Intel? I can't remember what it's called. It's now at 640. It used to be 4 something. Now it's at 640. So we'll see if this one can do better gaming. And on the Surface Pro, I will play some Doom. Hopefully it doesn't crash. I mean,
it probably would just slow down.
It will play. I'll have to play it at like 1080p.
And then your fan would probably sound as though you're in a freaking
yeah, exactly.
Air chamber or something.
Yeah. So I'll put that up and you guys can see and make judgments for yourself. If the Surface Pro can do some light gaming, and when I say light game, I mean heavy games played at lower resolution. That's just pretty much it. But anyway, guys, before we end, Warren, what is our last word for the day?
Xbox One X. Question mark.
So that's it. Warren
Question
says, goodbye the X.
I didn't say goodbye the X. I didn't tell you to go out and buy ecstasy. What you just said.
Go buy the X.
You just said that. You
was
didn't tell
referring
me
to
to
the
go
X.
buy ecstasy.
No. He was referring to the X, the Malcolm X Center at the UMass Amherst.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Where our alma mater, as it were.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we have
guys,
an Xbox One S. We have an Xbox One X. So when will the Xbox One?
It was kind of hard, like
when will the
say
E come out?
X in the video. I was like, the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. I mean, the name makes sense, but also you just can't really just say.
I want them to make an E model so badly.
An E model. I mean, what would the Xbox Extreme?
We'll think about it.
But the letter, they should have made this the E, and then the next one would be the X. So it would have been, yes, the Xbox X, whatever. But
I mean, that's what Elon Musk was trying to do with the Teslas. That's why there's a Model 3. Because he couldn't use the name Model E because what's their names? Claim that Ford claims they're going to make one. AKA, we just want to fuck over Elon Musk. That's really what it was.
they were just trying to piss him off.
But that's why there's the Model S, the Model X, and the Model 3. So it's just in lead speak.
Yeah.
All it is.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Check out all the channels. You can subscribe to Mr. Warren Bowman at BW1.com and follow him on Twitter, Instagram, as well as also on Facebook. It's all BW1.com. Sam is on Twitter. He's part of the Booredatwork network. His Twitter handle, we have no lower thirds up just because we didn't put it up, by the way, is @BlackIron_man. He's part of the Booredatwork network. And myself, it is Booredatwork. Booredatwork on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us all there. So have a great weekend, guys. Subscribe to all the channels. And when you do, that notification icon, basically click that to get notified with all our videos. And saying thank you, and always enjoy your entertainment.